Have you ever been watching a YouTube video and thought to yourself, yeah, whatever, this person's cool and all, but really I want to know what's up with these cats? What's your thoughts, Mags? Well, if that's you, this is the perfect video for you, because today I'm just going to be telling you a little bit about my 3 beautiful little creatures. When Benji and I moved into this apartment together, one of the things that I was the most excited for was to get cats. I had been living in an apartment by myself before that was really just way too small for me to even have 1 cat. And with the new space, I knew that we would probably be able to have 2, and I was so excited. Basically, as soon as we signed the lease on the new apartment, I started looking through the different places where you could adopt cats in the area, seeing the listings, and starting to think a little bit about what we wanted. Since we were in a position where we could get 2 cats at once, I figured it'd be better to get a bonded pair, since that way they already knew each other. And also, since we don't have any kids or any other pets, I was looking for a bonded pair that specified that they weren't good around kids or other pets. Maybe those cats would have a harder time being adopted. Other than that, I was really not picky. I've never really met a cat that I didn't like, so it was really just up to whoever was going to be available at the time that we were ready to adopt them. So one day I was browsing on the website for a local adoption agency, and I saw the listing for Maggie and Lucy, and I knew that that was probably going to be it. I was really not gonna have it happen where I got emotionally attached to some cats and then we didn't end up getting them. So I looked at the time when the applications opened, set a timer, woke up early, filled in the paperwork, submitted it for Maggie and Lucy as soon as I possibly could, and then we got approved and got to bring them home. Those first few days we kept them in the bedroom with us, so they had lots of space to hide under the bed and in their little cube tents, but then also we would come in and out so that they would get used to the sound of our voices and just us being around. And I'm pretty sure by the end of that first day, Lucy had already come out and said hi and been interested in hanging out with us. But Maggie is a little bit more of a complicated girl. She really was not a fan of us at first. I had never really seen a cat be like this before, and I was a little bit worried at first that maybe we weren't a good fit or it just wasn't gonna work out, and if that had been the case, I would have been so heartbroken because I just love these 2 so much. But after a while, things calmed down, they got a little easier. By the time the first couple weeks went by, both of them had already jumped up on our laps and cuddled with us and wanted to hang out, and I knew that everything was gonna be okay. But you've probably noticed that we have 3 cats. So how did that happen? Well, before Benji and I met, one thing that he tells me is that he had a whole life. Like, he was alive and doing stuff, and I have no evidence of this, but I guess I'll believe him. But one of the things that he was doing during this time was that he adopted this very sweet little kitten. They named her Teeto, which I always assumed was based on like Tito's, like the drink, but apparently was just a play on words on Teemo from League of Legends. Yeah, Benji's one of those. I'm so sorry. Now, Benji and Teeto ended up parting ways through the transitions of life, but still got updates about her and kept in touch with her parents. And then we got the news that Teeto's parents were having to move overseas, and they asked Benji and I if we would look after her. Now, Benji absolutely loved this cat so much, and so even though, you know, we don't have a huge house and we had 2 cats that supposedly weren't good around other cats, I knew that we had to at least try. So that's how we ended up with Teeto. We have another cat, Teeto. Teeto. Now, introducing Teeto and Maggie was a special type of hell that I would not wish upon anybody, and was really a very hectic time. I really, really wanted this to work, and so I really wanted to make sure that we were doing this super slowly and as carefully as humanly possible. And we really did. Our bedroom is basically the only place that can be secured off. So we started off with about a week of just Teeto being in the bedroom by herself while Maggie and Lucy hung out outside. This worked okay, but I knew that we were in for some trouble because Maggie started growling as soon as she got anywhere close to the bedroom door. But I was ready to be patient. After that first week or week and a half or so, I was very confident that Lucy and Teeto would be totally fine to meet. And Lucy's a lot more sensitive to being moved around and kind of having her routine disrupted. So we decided to first get it out of the way to have Teeto and Lucy meet. And like I thought, they were totally fine. Okay. And the two of them have actually been pretty good friends ever since. We're currently wondering if they will ever cuddle together. The closest that they've gotten right now is their butts touching a tiny bit. So I think it'll happen one day, but we'll see. But Maggie was absolutely not having it. What we tried to do was do the thing where when Teeto was still separated from Maggie, we brought out little like blankets and things that she had been sitting on to try and get Maggie used to her smell. Unfortunately, I think Maggie is just really not smart, and she would kind of smell it, but just didn't really seem interested. And I don't know, she didn't have a bad reaction, but I don't think she could wrap her little mind around what we were trying to do. Teeto was fine. She was just vibing and it was all good with her. So it was really Maggie that we had to get used to this situation. At this point, it had been over a month and a half, I think, since we brought Teeto home. And finally, Benji was just like, listen, I think that we've done everything that we can do. I think we just need to bite the bullet and do it. And so I said, okay, we can try. We'll keep an eye on them. Let's introduce Maggie and Teeto. So we did. They met. Okay, bye. They kind of just ran away to opposite sides of the apartment. And that's still how their relationship is today. So now let me introduce you to my three beautiful girls, Maggie, Lucy, and Teeto. Teeto, of the three cats, is definitely the smartest. You know, sometimes with animals, you can just really tell that they're like thinking about things and figuring things out. That's how Teeto is. She's a really good communicator. Like when she's hungry, she'll meow at us and lead us over to the food bowl. And one of my favorite things that she does is she loves to play elastic. Now don't panic. I had a cat growing up that used to eat hair elastics. Teeto does not eat them, so do not be concerned. Teeto likes to play fetch with them. All the time, at random times a day, she will meow and you will look over at her and she has a little elastic right beside her paw and she will look at us and start nudging it. And that is our signal that it's time for elastic. She is also just so sweet and so cuddly. She loves to give headbutts, which we call bonks. And even though I had heard before that she's a pretty shy cat, and she was a little bit scared at first, she and I very quickly became best friends, and now we hang out all the time. She's just so affectionate and so smart and such a sweet girl. Next, we have Lucy. Lucy is a very strange cat. I love cats and I've interacted with a lot of cats, and she has very bizarre mannerisms that aren't quite like any other cat that I've known. She's not super affectionate normally the way that the other two are, but the one exception is if you lie down, then she is obsessed. If you are lying down, she wants to be sitting on your body somewhere. And bonus points if you're lying down in the bed, she wants to come and get under the covers. We call it the tunnel. And she just wants to hang out in the tunnel all the time. The name Lucy does suit her very well. I kind of see her as this like good, sweet girl with a very crazy sister. But over time, we started calling her Lucy Goose, and then that became Silly Goose, and then we just started calling her Goose.
Goose, look here.
And I feel like Goose as a nickname is also very fitting for this very strange but wonderful cat. She's a lot more curious than the other two, so we sometimes call her Detective Goose. And because of her love for when people are horizontal, called her Goose the Masseuse. She's a girl of many careers. And because of her curiosity, she's also the one that will just end up climbing in a lot of weird places. Somehow she got on top of the kitchen cabinets one time. I still don't understand how she did that, but I love her so much. She has such beautiful soft fur. She's so like sweet and kind of meek and gentle, but then occasionally just goes really crazy. She's so fun and I just love her so much. Then we have Maggie. Now, remember when I was telling you how when we first got them, Maggie was attacking me all the time and very vicious? She still does that to basically every other person that she meets, but I don't know exactly what happened or how things ended up this way. But somewhere along the line, Maggie decided that, you know, a lot of animals are emotional support animals for other people, but Maggie decided that I am her emotional support human. Maggie decided that I am her actual mother and she is my actual baby, and that this is our roles and this is what we will do. So now she is completely obsessed with me at all times. Pretty much every morning she hears me when I wake up and come out into the hallway, and she will follow me into the bathroom and sit on my lap while I'm on the toilet sometimes. Maggie will follow me around the whole time and does not stop meowing, and all that she wants is for me to go and cuddle with her on the couch. And every morning I tell her that I will, I just need to do my other stuff first, and she doesn't remember. But the thing is, I think Mags, because she is so cute, she's this beautiful little calico cat, something about her is kind of unassuming, and I think people don't quite realize how vicious she can be. So even though I always try and warn people, usually they find out how vicious she is when they fuck around. She also just has some behavior sometimes where her eyes kind of go blank and she just starts twitching around. And, you know, if you believed that cats were demonic, then this would definitely be a good candidate for that. She's not, I promise. She's just a little bit weird. So Maggie and Lucy are a bonded pair. They are sisters born from the same litter. But I think with Maggie, it's less that they're a bonded pair because she loves Lucy or because they're super attached to each other. And it's more just that they're a bonded pair because Maggie gets really triggered by any other living creature. Except me. And honestly, sometimes her and Goose fight pretty bad, but usually it's just playful. So me and Goose and Benji are safe. And at this point, it's been over a year since we brought Teeto home, and her and Maggie will probably never like each other. Maggie does still growl every time she sees Teeto. Teeto, as always, is an unbothered queen, but I'm not worried about them like killing each other. They're fine. So yeah, my little routine with them is usually in the mornings, Teeto usually wants my attention and wants to be held and cuddled. Then once I come out of the bedroom, Maggie wants my attention and follows me around. She'll sit with me at my desk while I'm working, basically until she gets tired, and then me moving is too annoying. So then she'll leave and go nap. At that point, usually Teeto comes over and wants to be cuddled, wants to be held, wants to play. So I'll do that. And then when Benji gets back from work and he goes and lies down, that's when Lucy will go to him and want cuddles. And then before we go to bed at night, Lucy's usually there and she wants to cuddle with us. So honestly, I just love cats so much. So this is kind of the dream. I love them so much. I love how different they all are, and just their different personalities and how they all go together. They're all so funny. We just laugh at the silly things that they do all the time. They're so cute, and I really just love them so much. So hopefully this video was a good little overview. Hopefully if you're coming to my channel and you're just wanting to know about my cats, that this satisfied that. And thank you for watching.